Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in today's podcast. In today's episode, we are going to interview a survivor of the residential schools and revealing the horrors behind them. Our special guest is an Ojibwe and has been through a lot. Why don't you say hello, Lonnie?
Hello, name's Lonnie Rabbit, and thank you for having me on today, David.
No problem. How's your day today?
Good, and you?
Mine couldn't be any worse. You drink?
Oh, sure.
Here, let me get one.
Thanks.
Yeah. Here.
Thanks.
So, Lonnie, what was the life of an Ojibwe like in the bush before you went to school?
Well, very touchy subject in my childhood. It's also something I don't talk a lot about. Ojibwe life, of course, was lived in the wild, and I had a very respectable father who I was named after. I was happy living as an Ojibwe, thinking nothing can take that away from me.
Speaking of your father, what about the rest of your family?
My dad was an amazing animal trapper and built the most reliable snares and traps, which were a lot better than the other families. My mother was the only one who had been to the residential school. Her name was Annie, and probably the quietest in the family. Like myself, she would rarely speak about the experiences in the school. My mother did not do a lot of gun work and liked to stay home and help with the cooking. How about your family?
Oh, my family. Family of five, me included, with a brother and sister. My mom, a very hardworking office manager that brings in enough money to put food on the table. As for my father, he works as a mechanic and loves to work on different projects in the garage. My family's doing well without me, and of course, here I am making podcasts for a living. Your family's still around, right?
Not necessarily.
What do you mean by that?
I was about 9, probably 10 years old, when the school sent someone to take me. I struggled and fought back when they tried to capture me, and my mother tried to free me, only for her to get shot in the process. They even knocked out my father. The look on her face when she fell to the ground from the shot still haunts me to this day. I saw both my parents, one dead, the other one knocked out. I cried and grew more furious, knowing that I would never see them again. I was forced into a car and they drove me to St. Jerome Indian Residential School. It felt like abandonment.
I'm I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I never knew that the residential schools were like this to Indian children. It's so forceful.
Yeah, it was very tough for all the students in the school.
Thinking that your father's still out there alive, have you given much thought into finding him?
I have, but I don't know where to start.
Maybe you could find that start by visiting some places where you've been before.
That sounds like a good idea. I'll try to do that after the session.
Then I'll try to finish this interview as fast as I can.
Oh no, take your time. I believe our story needs to be heard.
True? Then to do so, I'll ask you the next question. When were you at school? What was the most terrifying thing you've experienced?
Most terrifying, there's a lot I remember. I remember this one time when I was cleaning the halls during a break only to see an Ojibwe woman, Rebecca, standing in front of her younger sister's grave near the school, who had died the day before of extensive torture and abuse. I could hear her singing in Ojibwe, mourning over the death of her sister. After a while, she took out a knife and killed herself in front of the grave. I did see Saul, a talented Ojibwe hockey player, standing near the barn watching as well, with tears running down his face. We waited around Rebecca's dead body for a while until someone started finishing the song Rebecca started to sing, and we joined in. We carried on in school, not speaking about the experience ever again, reminding ourselves of how terrifying school could be.
That must have been a very horrible experience for your age. What other things has school done to you?
When I got to the school for the first time, I remember the head priest changing my name from Lonnie to Aaron.
You didn't like the name?
Oh, I hated it. Alright. Bastards talking shit about my father and his name, saying he's a heathen and all that. I wanted to give him a good punch in his face.
So what happened afterwards? Did you protest?
I tried, but in the end, one of the priest's sisters whacked me in the back with a paddle. It really hurt, ached for days from that.
That's quite the abusive environment you've been living through, though, and I'm surprised that you made it through that. Well, since it is a school, what do they teach you? Some basic education, like math or literature?
Now, I have seen what other schools taught their students, but for us, we just learned how to survive and worked jobs that needed a lot of physical labor. And we would learn the Bible because the school wanted us to believe in Christianity. I think they wanted us to be weak and submissive by assimilating that religion into our mind. Upon entering the school and living there for a few days, I felt like I was abandoning my Ojibwe lifestyle.
What you're saying makes a lot of sense, and I do see how harmful the school can be on their identity and their people. What other abusive things have you seen the school do?
At the school, I've seen other students do things that were against their will to the point where it killed them or made them insane. There were many students who did have planned to run away, including myself, and uh, we were successful for a certain amount of time. There were also torture methods like the basement or even worse, the iron system. All I know about the iron system was that you were abused to the point where you wouldn't be the same.
School has really changed anyone who goes there. I'm wondering how the school might have impacted you after you graduated from it.
Once I got out of that school, I got the hell away from it. After a good distance away around northern Ontario, I started looking for a job there. I didn't know how to do anything except the things I did learn in the school, so I decided to look for jobs that needed physical labor. So I got a job at a factory, and I tell you, it was the weirdest thing because I stood out as I was Indian. People would avoid me or bully me because of my skin, so I was often isolated. I tried to endure the racist insults, but that wasn't for me. Every time my coworkers would bully me, it always reminded me of the way I was abused in the school. I started developing post-traumatic stress disorder, and I would lash out at everyone who would talk shit about my friends and family. I ended up getting fired, and I started living out on the streets, only to see a familiar face that I've seen around school. Every day I'm getting reminders of the school and my PTSD kicked in. That's when I discovered alcohol and drank it down for months. I would wander the streets drunk, forgetting and indulging in the alcohol.
Alcohol, so it can really suck you in, especially when you're stressed.
Well, that went on till I met the woman of my life.
Your wife.
Yes, her name is Martha.
Did you two get married yet?
Of course. Well, I don't want to get into the details on how our relationship started. Let's just say it's a long story.
Well, the marriage is good news.
Thank you. Me and my wife are living together now, and she's the light that allowed me to recover from my PTSD and to enjoy life despite experiencing residential schools.
So how are you now?
I'm still alive, I quit drinking, and our family has a few kids.
It's nice to hear from you.
Thank you.
I believe this story will give people the insight of how people like you live their life.
It's hard at first, but once you find something you can resonate with and love, I'm sure you put behind those painful experiences and move forward.
Thank you for coming on, Lonnie.
No, thank you for letting me tell my story.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. This is David, signing out.